Hello everyone, this is PHTV Channel 4 in Palos Heights. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to Meet with Moraine. And as I hope you know by now, every month we meet with somebody from Moraine Valley Community College, which is just around the corner, and they let us know about all the wonderful things and opportunities available for all of us at Moraine Valley Community College. And today we're really excited because we have Dr. Paula DeAnda Shah. Welcome, Paula.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. And Dr. DeAnda Shah is an associate professor of developmental mathematics and the STEM Center coordinator. So that is a really big title. You have a lot to do, it seems like. First of all, we'd love to know a little bit about you.
Sure.
Tell us about your background and how did you come to Moraine Valley?
Sure. So I was a first-generation student. I actually grew up in the Moraine Valley's districts. I graduated from Revis High School, located in Burbank. After graduation, I went to the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, where I eventually ended up earning a degree in math and Spanish. At that point, I kind of already knew that I was interested in math education at the higher ed level. And so I went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I earned a master's in math and education. From there, I stayed in that area and taught a little bit. I taught at an alternative GED school, Omega, and then I also taught at Madison Area Technical College up there. And then eventually I made my way back to Chicago, taught at Roosevelt University, and in 2011 I started at Moraine Valley in our developmental math department. And I'm still in that department, but in about 2018, I also took on the additional role of coordinator of our STEM Center. I had worked with a group of faculty at Moraine Valley to propose the idea and get the STEM Center started, and then I started serving in that role as coordinator. So now I kind of get to do a lot of different things. So I get to teach students math, but I also get to serve as a faculty advisor for our STEM club on campus, and then I get to work with different people on campus towards some exciting STEM initiatives.
Wow, you really had a lot of experiences here and there, and I'm sure it's really great to be back in your old stomping grounds down this way, although we love Wisconsin too. But that is wonderful that you're here at Moraine Valley. I actually admire anybody who is into mathematics because it certainly was never my field of expertise. So it's great when people are able to share what they know about mathematics to other kids. I know that even the kids in my family are, they're really into math, and I love that.
That's great.
That's a wonderful thing. I think that it's important for our viewers to know what is STEM. So, before the program, we were talking about it's at libraries, it's at schools, it's everywhere you see STEM. It's a STEM book, it's a STEM event happening. But what is STEM? Maybe
Sure.
you could explain that to us.
Sure, I'll try my best. So STEM is the acronym that comes from the first letter in the words science, technology, engineering, and math. Sometimes we also hear STEAM, which includes an additional A in there that represents the arts. So anytime you kind of hear STEM, it's talking about programming that incorporates, it could incorporate all the different disciplines, or it could be something that is focused on one of the different disciplines. I think what's important to recognize is that when we hear things like, it's so important for our students to, to participate in STEM or to do STEM, sometimes, yes, they are referring to very specific content that is in those courses. Like, it is helpful to learn how to solve an equation or potentially to learn how to code. But I think the really important piece, at least in my opinion, when it comes to STEM programming, is the aspect of problem solving. So how do students take the content knowledge, from those types of disciplines and apply it to come up with really creative solutions to real world problems one day. So I think that's the important piece that sometimes the STEM programming tries to build on. giving students a challenge and then seeing how they can come up with creative solutions to those challenges using math, using technology, using engineering principles, and applying mathematics as well.
I think if any parent or grandparent has helped any of their young students and even older students come up with homework, if they've helped with homework, they can see that there is a difference on how math and science and all of that is presented, because it is more problem solving. And there's a lot of writing when it comes to how did I come up with that solution,
Exactly.
not just the solution. And that is different than the way it used to be.
Exactly. It's definitely less of a focus on memorization and more of a focus on how can we take a look at something new and apply other concepts that we've learned to kind of like, hey, this looks a lot like, and really kind of making those connections. I see, like having a strong foundation in STEM as like going around the world and interacting with like this really powerful toolkit, right? Like you think of like when, someone shows up and they have like their tool belt with all these tools. You're like, this person means business. They are ready to tackle anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see having, a STEM background, or understanding of STEM principles, that you're engaging with the world with this like very powerful toolkit, and depending on what problems arise, you can think about creative ways to address it.
Yeah, and I agree with you that it does give you, instead of throwing your hands up, I can't solve this kind of problem, it gives you a way to solve a problem that you think maybe you couldn't have done before. Yeah. Plus, it seems like there's a lot more interaction with partners in the classroom, where together you're coming up with a solution.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, we're at a point where I don't think we can leave STEM to someone else. I don't think we can kind of say like, oh, STEM is important, but that's for someone else. Research actually does support that the best solutions, the most creative solutions to complex problems come from diverse teams. So, it's really important, representation matters, and it's really important that our STEM professionals represent the diversity in our country and in our world. And even more and more different, all professions are starting to kind of be infiltrated with different technology, or STEM principles or concepts that are kind of needed in those professions. So if job security is something that's important to us, then it's definitely, also something that we should all be really kind of thinking about and really building up those skills to be prepared for all the changes that are happening.
And so that is happening even, or more so maybe, in that higher education, whereas maybe they didn't have that kind of background as elementary school children. In higher education, we're guiding young adults to that way of learning.
I think so. I think actually even in some of the elementary education, we're kind of, there's more of that kind of thinking as well.
Yes.
So where it's just like, how do you support how you're thinking about a problem? I think that's why sometimes it feels so different for parents when they're looking at their child's math homework and they're like, we didn't have to do it this way. Just line up, if you're adding, just line up the numbers and, carry that one over. And, now our students are being more so taught like, place value, like, oh, that's because I have 3 groups of 10, right? And how do I, I'm going to bring these 10s and these 10s, connect them. And so it's just a different way to kind of think and support your ideas.
Exactly. It gives you the actual concept in your head, not just a rote memorization of how to do something. That makes a big difference. I just have to add that one of my granddaughters was so excited about how many ways she learned to do division that she had to show me all the ways. And my daughter was like, I don't know that she wants to know all this. I said, I do want to know all this. Is great. So, it's more exciting, I think, to learn that way too.
And I think that's one of the reasons that the focus on the problem-solving piece is the important part. When we think about STEM programming, like STEM programming shouldn't be like, we're going to bring everyone here and we're going to teach you, how to solve this one type of equation. It's the problem-solving piece of it, because especially, like with our digital economy kind of growing and, things changing, we're preparing students right now for professions that don't necessarily exist yet.
That's true.
So we need them to be able to, take that toolkit and pivot as needed and apply it, to whatever those times look like and whatever is needed at that time.
Yeah, that's so true. We can't even imagine what kind of job opportunities there are going to happen.
Exactly.
That haven't happened yet. So when a student is at Moraine Valley, what could they expect to find in a STEM area at school?
Sure. So we offer a lot of different types of possibilities depending on what the goals are of someone who is coming. So someone who is interested in STEM, they might come to Moraine Valley to take courses to complete general requirements because they have an intent to transfer to a four-year institution. For example, like when I went to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign in the summer, I didn't want to have to pay for housing down there or pay tuition down there, so I came back home for the summer and I took a course at Moraine Valley that was part of my general education requirements. But we have students that may just focus that first year or two on just taking those courses that they already know will transfer. We also have some students that want to complete a degree while they're at Moraine Valley, so it's not just about taking coursework, but they either maybe want to complete an associate in science or associate in engineering sciences. And those are students that are particularly interested in transferring to a four-year institution in an area of STEM already. So that's an option. We also have many students who express an interest in our certificate programs. So the difference there is that they might also complete 2 years at Moraine Valley, but when they finish their 2 years, they have been prepared to enter the work, their occupation already. So we have different certificate programs in the health sciences or in technology, automotive, culinary programs, etc. And then we also have some students that just want to take courses. So it might be someone who just has a specific interest and they want to explore it, or we might have someone that is looking, that is seeking advancement in their current employment. So maybe they want to get a certificate in a certain area of technology because they know that that's going to take them to that next level at their current profession. So I think there's a lot of different reasons why and paths that someone could take at Moraine Valley if they're interested in STEM.
Okay, so they could get prepared for whatever career path they want to, or just get prepared for the future that's unknown.
Exactly.
Either one is what we're focused on. Okay, well, that's good. Now, the Engineering Pathways program, that is a STEM program that Moraine Valley offers. Exactly what is that? Because you would need to start something at Moraine, and I'm assuming continue on maybe at a four-year university at some point.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the Engineering Pathways program is for high-achieving high school students who are interested in pursuing a degree in engineering at the specifically at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yes, so it's a partnership between Moraine Valley and the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where they've already kind of done the work of going through the courses and saying, yes, these are the courses Moraine is going to offer, and yes, we agree that we will accept these courses. So it takes that legwork from the student having to kind of run around and figure out, like, is this going to transfer? Who do I need to talk to find out, et cetera. But students would apply to our Engineering Pathways program at Moraine Valley. If accepted, they would complete the 2 years at Moraine Valley of these courses. And if they, earn good grades in them, then they're guaranteed admission into the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign as with junior status.
Wow.
So no time is lost for those students. It's not like they're coming in as freshmen or sophomores. Those first 2 years count as like their freshman, sophomore year, and they're entering as juniors. There's a few reasons why maybe someone would choose to do our Engineering Pathways program. So for example, they might just want to save money. That's 2 years of paying Moraine Valley tuition versus paying tuition at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. That's 2 years of potentially not having to pay additional housing costs if they're able to kind of, they already have a housing situation here locally. But one of the other things that we've kind of seen, so we call back kind of our STEM alumni and usually kind of do a panel where they get to share things with current students. And one of the things that's come up over and over again is just how grateful they are that they took those key foundational STEM courses at Moraine Valley versus having taken them at University of Illinois or at another institution, because they feel like at Moraine Valley the classes were smaller. They had, their faculty were very accessible, and they felt like they were really well prepared when they got over there. So we have students that have already transferred to U of I and have graduated. So we are, some years into the Engineering Pathways program. So we do have students that have already graduated University of Illinois, and I think it's just a testament that, the courses they're taking and the program is adequately preparing them for that.
That is so fantastic for a student to know, I want to do that, how do I do it? And you're right, it's a money issue, but what I'm finding over my now years of interviewing people like you from the school is that there's so much available support for students.
Yes.
The teachers are very enthusiastic. Everyone is trying to help people do their best. There are support groups there. Educationally, if you feel like you can't understand something or whatever, you can get help with that. And to me, that's so different than the four-year experience at times, because it's a big crowd of people. This is nice and small. And I mean, it's just a great pathway for so many people and so many young people. And then to know, hey, I took these classes and they all count. And I start as a junior. That is fantastic.
Exactly.
What a great program.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super. Now, extracurricular activities?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm the faculty advisor for STEM Club. So we do a lot of, different STEM activities. We go on field trips. We invite speakers to kind of come talk to us. And most importantly, it's about connecting students to each other. And I think that's one of the pieces that students find so valuable, that they connect to other students that have similar interests to them and really build that sense of community on campus. Through the years, we've had a lot of different STEM clubs, STEM-related clubs on campus as well. We've had robotics club, engineering club, biology clubs, et cetera. And one of the really nice things about Moraine Valley is that we have a student life department that supports students in exploring any of their interests. So if there's a club that someone feels really, I shouldn't say someone, but a group of people feel very strongly interested in starting, they're supported in doing so. Like, we have a Dungeons and Dragons club at Moraine Valley. So I mean, like really they can explore anything that they're interested in.
Yeah.
But students, one of the other things that is extracurricular, I guess, wise, is students can apply to be a paid tutor or a learning assistant in a STEM course. And this is actually a really nice position. One, because they get paid for it, so it's kind of extracurricular, but they're also getting paid. But second, students who do that, they're able to continue to fine-tune their skills, right? So like if they took this math class and now they're tutoring that math class, these are things that they're not forgetting, they're actively still kind of working with someone else. And they say, like when you teach someone else, it's the best way to actually really learn.
It really is.
So those are some kind of really neat opportunities that students can explore. And we also have the STEM Skyway poster competition that we do each year. And that's a competition between a few different community colleges in the area. And students engage, they work with a faculty mentor, they do research, which is really amazing that, these students get to have a research experience as community college students or in those first kind of 2 years of their program. But they do research and then they prepare a short paper and a poster, present it. They get judged, and Moraine Valley, from my memory, has placed every single year. Our students have gone on to kind of win, and we support up to 10 projects each year for that competition. So that's a really kind of nice experience that our students have access to as well.
There's nothing like competition, to make it a little fun. When you're working together to win something, it does make it fun. And you're right about being a tutor. I mean, if you're teaching someone something that boy, it cements what you know to someone else. And that's a great thing for someone to have someone of like age or, someone who's experienced that, learning that subject right then, and there's a connection there between that. You understand what that student needs to know, and you as the tutor can fill in the blanks for that person. That's a great program too.
Yeah.
That sounds really fantastic. And all the clubs that, people want to be involved, and those are fun clubs. They sound like very interactive.
Exactly.
And that makes it more fun too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, even like our math department hosts an integration bee every year, which is, a lot of fun for the student. And students can also extracurricular. I mean, Moraine Valley just offers so many different courses. So if someone wanted to take an elective course and like maybe they're interested in photography or art, or maybe they want to learn, how to use a 3D printer or how to weld, these are all different kind of opportunities that they have right there at their disposal.
They really do. I mean, so many choices. Okay, so let's talk about all the girls out there, young women, and how important it is for them to kind of be involved in this STEM process. And I think there is a big focus on women, girls. That hasn't been in the past. It's kind of coming along that they should be involved in engineering and this type of thing. How are more women involved, or are they involved in this program?
Yeah, well, I think you bring up a good point, and it's kind of like what I was saying a little while ago, where our STEM professionals should mirror the diversity of our country, right? So our STEM professionals should also kind of mirror, that women are just as well represented as men are in these fields. I just attended a girls' conference this past weekend at Moraine Valley, and one of the presenters kind of shared too that in 4th grade, girls and boys kind of express similar interests in STEM. By 8th grade, you see a difference in the percentages where there's a lot more boys than there are girls that are expressing an interest in going into STEM fields. So something is happening, right? And we need to kind of get to the bottom of it. But, as far as like Moraine Valley, we definitely try to figure out ways to kind of support all of our students, but also, the women who decide to pursue these careers. So like all of our students, for example, when they come to Moraine, they're going to see those smaller class sizes, which, provide high levels of support for them. We have like state-of-the-art facilities, labs, resources that they'll have access to. But one of the other things you talked about was that all the resources that a community college or that Moraine specifically kind of offers, like they have access to free tutoring, counseling, advising. We have an honors program, a veterans program. We have a minority student affairs program. So we have so many different resources. We have a food pantry, and our foundation awards so many, thousands of dollars in scholarships every single year for our students to support them. So all of our students, are receiving high levels of support. And then for our women, I think one of the nice things is when they go into their classes, they're going to see a lot of women faculty in teaching these courses. So that's like a really nice thing to kind of, walk into your class and, you see your biology professor, is a female, she's in her lab coat, ready to get started. And I just kind of seeing that model is really important. So I think that's one of the nice things about Moraine. They're going to see the faculty, within the faculty, women well represented, as well as within the leadership roles at our institution as well. For any students that are interested in technology, we have a Women in Technology program at Moraine Valley. It's a mentoring program where students and females in technology get paired with a professional female in technology, as well as a senior peer mentor. And that's really great because not only do these students get to connect with and learn about different technology professions, but they have someone that they can confide in and talk to about the joys, but also the challenges sometimes of being a woman in these fields. I know we've heard students kind of say like, there was only 2 women, in this specific class of mine. And sometimes, having someone that can relate to that experience and they can talk to about that is really encouraging. And it's that program in particular is really special. I've attended their events and I always leave like so inspired because you see these women who either maybe they're just like really excited to get started in technology, as their first career. But then you also see women who have come back, and this is now they're looking into starting a second or their third career shift or change, and they're doing it because they fell in love with some aspect of technology, and now they're finally ready to just kind of commit to it. And they started by maybe taking one course, turned into a certificate program, turned into 3 different technology certificate programs, and they're just excited about the possibility of transforming their lives.
I think too that people like that, wanted to do something like that back when they first started, but it wasn't really maybe available, or it was a field that women really weren't involved in, and now they're like, wait a minute, I could do that, and that is what I love, and I'm going to find out about it. I mean, that's a great opportunity for people to do that second choice or third choice career that they really wanted to be the first choice. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I think sometimes, like with myself, I've always kind of thought like, well, these are the choices I made, and this is, my career. And then when I leave there, I'm like, I could do anything. I'm still so young, and I could go any direction I choose. So it's really powerful. It's a really powerful experience for all our students who attend, and I think even the professionals who attend to, connect with each other.
And I think more and more today, young people feel like I don't have to do this forever. There's other stuff that I could do, and I would love to do it. And they do change paths, and that is great. We have a nice long life, and we should do whatever we want.
Exactly.
Do that. That's fantastic.
We don't have to stick to the choices we made when
we were 18. We can have other choices. Okay, now you have a STEM center.
Yes.
Even. So what is the STEM Center, and what would we find there?
All right. Well, you won't find a physical STEM Center, so I'll clarify that. Okay. So don't come to campus and say, I need to find the STEM Center. Our STEM Center is virtual, and basically our STEM Center, as I mentioned, was a faculty-led initiative. So it was a group, myself and a group of colleagues, we came together, we were talking about, we need, different kind of STEM programming or more cross-disciplinary programming. And by the end of the conversation, it was like, no, we need a STEM center. And so we proposed the idea to our foundation and to the college, and it was approved. And so we got to work with creating a website where we can house a lot of information about different programmings that we offer. But another central piece was the communication piece. So I think our STEM Center is like this coordination of efforts to centralize communication, whether it be between the college, different departments within the college or colleagues within the college, but then also the college with the community. So on our website, you'll also find a contact form where anyone can go on there, ask whatever question they have, and get a response, which is really nice because I think in the past, when the community wanted to reach out to the college about something, it had to be like, who should I contact? Or I know this one random person, but maybe they'll connect me with someone else, and they'll and it was just kind of like people didn't really know kind of who to reach out to. So this is a really nice way where you don't have to know anyone specifically at the college in order to get some more information about something. So they can pose a question on there, and either they'll get a response to their question, or they'll get a contact of like, okay, this is the person who leads the program you're interested in. So this is who your next contact be, or here I've connected you to this person. Feel free to continue the conversation now about what you're interested in. So that was one big piece. So how would you access
this center? I know it's virtual.
Yeah.
Is it just on the website?
It is, yes.
Okay.
So we do have a website. It's just morainevalley.edu/STEM-center. And they can, the easier way is probably just go on Moraine Valley homepage, go to the search box and type STEM Center, and it'll come up. Or go to Google and type in Moraine Valley STEM Center, it'll come up. It comes up any of those ways.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, and we have information on there. There's drop downs where they can read about some of the programs that I talked about today, like the engineering pathways, getting involved in clubs, our women in technology program. So they can read about those different and find context for those specific programs on there as well. But then if they don't find what they're looking for, they can also just pose a question and hopefully get some information that way.
Oh, great.
And then the STEM Center, another part of it is we have a cross-disciplinary advisory board. So we have a group of faculty and staff that come together and have conversations about, what are we doing on campus. Sometimes it's about just being informed about what's happening, you know, in other departments. So, you know, I know what's happening in my department, but I don't necessarily know what's happening over there, and maybe what they're doing connects with some of the things I'm doing, or our department is doing. And then also really kind of thinking about initiatives that really bring all those disciplines together. This is what we want for our students. You know, part of the STEM, the vision behind creating the STEM club on campus was that we wanted our students to become a little bit more well-rounded and exposed to a lot of different areas of STEM, and not only the one specific area that they were interested in, but really kind of seeing how things connect, or really just kind of expand their thinking. I didn't even realize that was a possibility. So that's something, you know, so we want this for our students, so we're engaging in that as well as colleagues, you know, at the institution as well. And then another big goal of our STEM Center when we created it was that we would host an annual STEM Expo at our college. So our annual STEM Expo so we invite anywhere from 450 to 1,000 seventh graders on our campus.
Wow.
And they all come on one specific morning, usually in April. And they just have a morning of STEM exploration. We have our faculty and professionals in the community organizations that facilitate hands-on sessions during the STEM Expo. And then we also have in our gym, we also have what you might consider a more traditional STEM Expo, like more exhibits and things where students can kind of walk around and explore. But the goal of that day is really just to get students excited about STEM, and also just start beginning to realize their potential. Like, oh, you know, I think by the end of the day, like some students leave like really surprised because they're like, oh, I didn't realize I could do that. Or they're surprised because they're like, that was actually kind of fun. Or, you know, sometimes they just leave surprised that they didn't realize Moraine was so large and so nice, you know. So sometimes
so it's a
even
nice
that,
exposure for that too.
it is, and I think them just kind of getting to see our campus, I think really helps students see that, you know, I can actually see myself here. Because I think sometimes they think like, oh, I want that campus feel of like a university. And then I don't think they realize that when they come to Moraine, like, it feels like it's larger than some, you know, local universities. It's rather large in size, and it's a beautiful campus. And we have a quad area too, where students can kind of come together. So I think there's just like a lot of really, it's a really fun event, and we get everyone involved. We have people from different departments that get involved in developing the STEM Expo. We have our faculty that lead sessions. We have our students that serve as like the tour guides for the groups when they're on campus, and they get to answer questions. So we do find that a lot of the seventh graders who come that day, they're just so eager to ask questions to their guide, who is a Moraine Valley student. And then, you know, we've heard a lot of things at the end of the day. We're like, I'm definitely coming to Moraine, or, you know, we've heard things where like, oh, I never really realized, or that was kind of cool, or, you know, they just connect with either the disciplines in a certain way that they hadn't really been exposed to, or potentially even just the idea of being a college student that maybe hadn't even crossed their mind before as something they wanted, or something that they were capable of. Right.
They wouldn't even know to go over that direction if it wasn't maybe an event like that, an invitation that they can go and learn something. And also the seventh grade is a great year to do it. I'm sure that's why, because they've got that eighth grade year left, and then they're high schoolers, and then they can take classes ahead of time even, and get a jump start on some of the requirements that they would need at Moraine Valley, and even make it speedier.
Yes, that is the hope. The hope is always that we can get them so that when they get to high school, they're making the right choices in the courses that they're taking, so that they're better prepared to start, you know, if they want to go to college, you know, that they have that strong foundation that they need. So yeah, we're excited. And we always encourage our schools that participate. We say, you know, send us some of your students who already have a strong interest in STEM, but please also send us some students that you think would never consider a degree in STEM, or, you know, considering a job in STEM, because we want them to have these positive experiences that may potentially get them to start thinking like,
I could
That
do
was
this.
kind of cool.
This is fun.
I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that is just so important at that grade level to help them understand you can do these things. You know, you do have potential. And some kids just don't, they're kind of, you know, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And this kind of at least opens up a door for them. That's a
Yeah.
great thing. And I can't imagine 400 to 1,000.
Yes.
It's
It's a lot of organization to kind of get everyone where they need to go. Yeah, and they travel around, even though it's that many students, they travel around the campus in groups of no more than 20. So they get to have actually very intimate experiences, even though there are, you know, so many people on campus that day. So they're all just kind of moving around campus. It's pretty neat
That is really exciting
to see it.
And so that is an invitation that goes out to certain schools for
To all the schools in the district, the middle schools in the district.
all of, and then they like submit a certain number of kids to go on over there.
Yeah, so we usually kind of send out an invitation and we ask, like, you let us know how many students would you like to bring. Now, if we can accommodate all of them, then we will say bring them all. But if it turns out that more schools want to participate and they all want to bring every single 7th grader that they have and we can't accommodate that many, then at that point sometimes we have to kind of say, well, you know, we can only allocate this many tickets, you know, for your school or for your students, and, you know, hopefully you can still participate, and then they'll bring, you know, a group of students.
Yeah.
For that day.
That's really special.
Yeah.
It's a lot of organization and work for all of you too to make this happen. That is amazing, really. Yeah. But it's all exciting and
It
fun,
is.
and it's a challenge, but a good one.
It is. It is, absolutely.
Okay, so now finally, if someone wants more information about this, what do you think is their best bet? What should they do?
Yeah, I think the website's going to be the best bet. So the website that I gave out earlier, the morainevalley.edu/STEM-center, or just going on the Moraine Valley page and typing STEM Center, you'll take you to our web page where they can read about different information, do some drop-down menus, or look on the different links. We even have a video on there with some of our students and faculty talking about STEM, you know, doing, you know, what it means to be, you know, studying STEM on campus. And then from there, if you don't find all the information you're looking for, you have more questions, or, you know, kind of seeking different information, then please fill out the contact form and, you know, send us your questions or concerns, and, you know, we'll do our best to get back to you and point you in the right direction.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in today,
Absolutely.
Paula.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
So interesting and such great opportunities for the whole community. I hope that you enjoyed today's learning experience about STEM, and more information about Moraine Valley Community College. It's there for you and your family and your friends and your neighbors and everybody. Spread the word. And we'll see you next month on Meet with Moraine.